It's remarkably rare for a theme song to be used throughout an entire 24-episode anime, but that's exactly what milet has achieved. I've spent the last two videos breaking down the amazing OPs of Frieren Season 1, how the lyrics and music videos complement those tracks. But now, it's time to talk about the best overall theme song of the series, the one and only ED, Anytime Anywhere. Anytime Anywhere is written by milet and produced by the Japan-based American composer, Evan Cole, best known for his work on Violet Evergarden. Milet is one of the most versatile Japanese singers of recent years, having been equally successful in anime music as she is in mainstream J-pop. The release of Anytime Anywhere for Frieren came only a few months after her previous hit single, Kizuna no Kiseki with Men with a Mission, from Demon Slayer Season 3. I cannot stress enough how insane the ensemble for Frieren Season 1 was. YOASOBI was fresh off a generational hit in Idol. Yorushika had been in the mix for the most popular artist domestically for a few years. And milet had performed at the Tokyo Olympics and just came off a career-defining tie-in with Demon Slayer. It's genuinely staggering. But back to the song. Let's start with its music. Milet was a huge fan of Evan Cole's work in Violet Evergarden, so when she wrote the demo, she kept the melody rather simple and relied on the acoustic guitar to give him space to do his magic. That sounds pretty simple, but creating this song is actually one of the biggest challenges he has ever faced. The anime producers were asking for an epic orchestral sound, while the music label wanted something with more band music that would fit live performances. And as you have heard it so many times, he pulled it off. The verses feature a delicate mix of acoustic guitar and piano that lead into the orchestra for the pre-chorus. Then the band kicks in for the climatic chorus. Milet was obviously stunned by how different the song had changed compared to the demo she sent to him. But what's even more surprising is its tone. While Yusha is about memories and Haru is about grief, milet envisioned Anytime Anywhere to be about honoring death by celebrating life, the life of all the history and the people that have surrounded Frieren. However, the melodies of her demo initially sounded heavy and passive, with a limited perspective. But Evan Cole's arrangement changed everything. The melody now sounds like we're looking at the world Frieren lives in from a bird's eye view, or like the wind that encompasses everything. And that's exactly what milet wanted to set the tone for the lyrics. This song isn't just about Frieren's journey and Himeru, it's also about the interconnected relationships of the main characters, Frieren and Frieren, Frieren with Haita, and Shitaraku with his brother and Aizen. And since the song focuses on the present and life, the person who matters most to Frieren, who is still part of her journey, is Frieren. And the same goes for her as well. So throughout the lyrics, there are shifts in perspective from different characters and a lot of room for interpretation. And that's where we'll be moving on to. Now, the ending animation is absolutely stunning, and the floral theme is inspired by Frieren's favorite magic, the spell that creates a field of flowers. However, one thing I realized about the best way to understand Anytime Anywhere is by watching the special music video. It doesn't paint the full picture, but the scenes that are put together to match the lyrics are very fitting. So that's what I'm going to be using for this video.
And you alright? Can you hear me?
In the intro, "And you alright? Can you hear me?" it's spoken by the living to the dead, i.e. Frieren to Himeru, or to those who have a massive influence on her and have passed away. Now, milet has said that depending on the episode, you can interpret this song in different ways. For instance, in the episodes that are more focused on Frieren and her past, the same lyrics could be applied to her and Haita as well. But I'm not going to keep repeating this same information for every single lyric, so just know that's one way to decipher the song's connection to the anime. Trailing along deserted tracks, and I've held on to memories I like to keep vivid, refer to Frieren retracing the places she's been to with the hero's party, and the flashbacks that accompany them. There's something I like to tell you, with words more precious than a goodbye, unremarkable yet special. What makes these ordinary mundane words precious is the fact that the days when we could take them for granted are over. After the final goodbye, words are meaningless without the person there to hear them. So if I were to be born again, I would surely choose this place once more. So if we were to meet again, I'd never let you go. I choose the present. In the chorus, the biggest keywords are koko and ima, here and now. There's no doubt about how much Frieren's previous companions meant to her, as demonstrated in the first part of the song. And if they ever met in another life, she wouldn't hesitate to dedicate the time and space to them. but the emphasis on this place and the present shows her actual growth as a character. Her biggest regret is not truly understanding Himeru while he was alive, so now, there's nothing more important than focusing on those by her side at this very moment. The chorus is actually a beautiful showcase of honoring the past by celebrating the present. And I think when appreciating this song, regardless of the anime tie-ins, its theme of living in a moment while embracing the past is something that could really resonate with anyone. In the post-chorus, "Those tears will be alright, dawn will surely break," was left as the final line of the first ED. That's because the tears Frieren shed at Himeru's funeral are the catalyst for everything that follows. Namida is a very common keyword in Japanese songs, but here what it represents and how milet uses it are very different from the rest. In a sense, Namida might be the highlight of the song and a symbol of growth. And that brings us to the second ED. It was always the plan for Anytime Anywhere to serve as Frieren's both EDs, and that's something milet and Evan-Cole had both kept in mind when making it. So the second part of the song has some tweaks to the lyrics, and a slight change in the arrangement to keep things fresh.
And I'm alright, yeah, I hear you.
One of the more obvious changes that many fans loved is "And I'm alright, yeah, I hear you." It's a callback to the intro of Frieren's attempt to talk to Himeru, and here it became his response from the heavens. About the line, the wind teases this hair that's longer now. Milet once mentioned that since the passage of time cannot be seen through Frieren, who doesn't age, seeing Friren's hair grow longer as she becomes an adult makes it even more melancholic, which explains this specific line. Also, from the ending animation and the special music video, you can see that the song's focus is shifting to Frieren. Now that I finally understand, I've caught up to you. This line is really up to your interpretation. It could be about Frieren and her two biggest mentors, Shitaruku with his master, or even Frieren finally understanding Himeru's many gestures. I will say that using the term imasara, which roughly means "now that I finally," or "at this point," is really fitting to the anime. Frieren's journey is very much about self-reflection and loss, and imasara is sometimes used when you finally do something, but just regrettably too late. I won't ask to see you, so at least let me remember the past, just for today. This line from the bridge is another lyric that is written from Frieren's point of view. Despite the objective of her current journey, she has said that she's not interested in meeting Himeru at this point, and I genuinely believe she meant it. You know the saying where a person dies twice, once when they take their last breath, and once where they're forgotten. Frieren has seen more loss than anyone else, so she's not one to waste her life away dwelling in the past. What she's doing is honoring and keeping their memories alive.
I'm whispering a lullaby for you to come back home.
The song ends with, "I'm whispering a lullaby for you to come back home." We've seen many different perspectives shipped throughout Anytime Anywhere, which is why it's the title. But this specific line could be sung by any character, making it the perfect final note. Milet and Evan-Cole truly have created something special with Anytime Anywhere. It combined all the qualities that make Yusha and Haru great in their separate ways, then added some more. No matter from a storytelling, thematic, or musical standpoint, it just absolutely nails it. And that's why it's the perfect theme song for Frieren. Thanks for watching. This has been Cushion. See you next time.